Hello everyone, my name is Aryanuppin, currently pursuing Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, Bangalore, Department of Information Science and Engineering. I am going to cover the subject OOPS with Java, that is Object Oriented Programming System with Java. So subject code is BCS303. I am going to cover the topic that is recursion in Java. So let's begin. Table of content are what is recursion, common use of recursion, advantage and disadvantages, and recursion versus iteration, when to use recursion, and lastly we conclude. So let's begin. So what is recursion? Recursion is a process in which a method calls itself directly or indirectly to solve a problem. In Java, recursion can be used to break down complex problems into smaller ones, more manageable subproblems. How it works? Recursion works by having a function call itself with modified argument until it reaches a base case, where it stops calling itself. Key components of the recursion. First one, base case, the simplest condition that stops the recursion. Without a base case, the function would call itself indefinitely and it's the stack overflow error. Second one, recursive case, the part of the function where it calls itself with different argument. It gradually reduces the problem size, moving closer to the base case. For example, factorial calculation. Let's use the factorial function as an example. The factorial of n, written as n factorial, is the product of all positive integers from 1 to n. Example and the code is below. It starts with a class name as recursion example and it calls the method public static int factorial inside the parenthesis int n. If the n is equal to 0, then it returns the value 1, or else it returns the formula, that is n into factorial of n minus 1. It is a recursive case and it starts with a main function public static void main and inside the parenthesis string arguments. Then int result is equal to factorial of 4. Then it prints out the factorial of 4 is plus result. Common use of recursion. Common uses of recursion in Java. Recursion is frequently used in Java for problems that involve repetitive tasks, hierarchical data structure, and algorithm that require exploring multiple possibilities. Here are some of the most common applications of recursion in Java. First one, mathematical problem. Recursion is often used to solve mathematical problems such as factorial calculation, Fibonacci series, power calculation, that is exponential. Second one, data structure traversal. Recursion is commonly used to traverse complex data structure like binary trees in order, pre-order, post-order traversal, or graphs, that is deep first search. Third one, game algorithms. Minimax algorithm. In game like chess or tic-tac-toe, recursion is used to explore possible moves and make optimal decision using minimax algorithm, alpha beta pruning. Advantages of recursion. Those are simplifies code for complex problems. Recursion can make the code more readable and concise, especially for problems that involve repetitive or hierarchical structure. For example, tree traversal, factorial calculation. Second one, reduce code complexity. It helps solve problems that are naturally recursive, such as searching a tree or calculating a Fibonacci series. Suitable for divide and conquer algorithm. Recursive solution often have fewer lines of code, making the implementation straightforward. The disadvantages of the recursion are High memory usage. Each recursive call uses memory on the call stack from deep recursion. Second one, performance overhead. Each recursion call uses memory on the call stack for deep recursion. Difficult to debug and trace. Recursive code can be harder to debug and understand, especially for beginners, because it involves multiple function calls on the stack. So the difference between the recursion and the iteration can be seen in the below table. Definition for the iteration repeats a block of the code using loops. Definition for the recursion is a function call itself repeatedly. Control flow for the iteration. Use loops like for loop, while loop, etc. Recursion control flow is uses function calls, self-calling. Memory usage. In the iteration, uses less memory in a single loop, or in a memory usage for the recursion uses more memory stack for each call. Performance for the iteration generally faster and less overhead. Performance for the recursion can be slower, extra function calls. Risk for the iteration, no risk of the stack overflow. The risk for the recursion can be lead to stack overflow if too deep. Example for the iteration, counting numbers with the loop. Examples for the recursion is solving factorial trees, etc. When to use the recursion? You should use the recursion in Java when the problem is naturally recursive, the solution is simple and elegant, there is a clear base case, when you are dealing with hierarchical data, when iterative solutions are too complex. Conclusion. Recursion in Java is a technique where a method calls itself to solve a problem by breaking it down into smaller parts. It is most useful when a problem naturally fits into smaller subprograms like calculating factorial, traversing trees, or solving puzzles. While recursion can be make code cleaner and easier to understand, it has some downsides. It uses more memory because of the repeated function calls, and if the problem is too deep, it can cause the program to crash. That is stack overflow. Thank you for watching.